This is so exciting, Jenna. As we continue, it's now time to talk to Paul Willis. His company's called Pet Barber. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I very much appreciate it.
You know, we have a lot of listeners. Many of them are dogs all around, not just Houston, but sometimes far beyond, right, Jenna?
Yeah, exactly. And I can say from personal experience, this is how I met Paul because my golden doodle, who's the sweetest member of our family, goes to Pet Barber regularly. One of the locations.
Well, I just missed the Pet Barber boat because my dog went somewhere else, but now she's going to go to the Pet Barber.
Not no mo.
Not no more. So tails are wagging all over the listening area. So, Paul, let's tell people about your company.
All right. Well, listen, I've been working with dogs for 25 years now. It's been a passion of mine. I grew up as a little boy just loving dogs. And I didn't have one as a little kid, but the lady down the street and around the corner from me raised Newfoundlands. And when she would have puppies in the spring, and she was really big into it, she was very well known apparently because she was on she would be in the Thanksgiving Day parade with her Newfoundlands and stuff like that. So anyway, I would always go down and just talk, and as a little kid, I love these dogs. And I begged my parents for a dog, and my mother was always on this thing about how she was allergic to dogs and we couldn't have one. So one day when I was in 5th grade, my reading teacher in 5th grade was talking about how she just had this baby and it was allergic to this beloved golden retriever that they have, and that they needed to find a good new home for him. And I raised my hand. And I was like, we want a dog. And she was like, oh, that's great. I'll talk to your parents. And I totally convinced my parents into getting this dog. And I don't know why I'm getting all emotional about it, but he became the best dog ever. And ever since then, it was that was it.
What was his name?
His name was Achilles.
Aww.
Yeah. And we only had him for I think 3 years because he died of cancer, but he was awesome. And then after that, we got more dogs, and we did rescue. We used to do pit bull rescue. I would literally steal dogs when I was 17 years old from people that were into dog fighting.
Oh, wow.
Into the Syracuse, New York area.
So they had that up there.
Oh, yeah, big time.
That's
I think
a shame.
it goes on in a lot of places, but I had some friends that were a little on the shadier side, and I found out about where some of these places were, and one of the rescues that I'm most happy about is a female pit bull that she was chained up on the side of a fence that left her to die, who had lost a dog fight, and I stole her at 2 o'clock in the morning with bolt cutters, and
Nice.
took her to the vet the next morning, and they suggested putting her down, and we said no, and she became the best dog ever.
She was probably so loyal.
Oh, she was amazing.
yeah.
Smart,
Saved
loving.
her life.
She was awesome. And my parents loved her to death, and she was just everything. But, they pass away, So
They do.
after that, I knew that I wanted to, make money when I got older.
Well,
so I was
you
all
kinda
about
had to also.
No,
Don't
yeah.
we all?
Gotta
Yeah.
pay the rent, but
We need
I
some
grew
money.
up in a less than middle class area. My parents were hardworking, a lot of kids, great morals, but we didn't have a lot of money. And hey, whatever. So I had friends that I went to high school with that their parents lived on the other side over by the lake, and they had all these things and money and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, so I need to go into finance and do these things. And I started to go that route, but you couldn't get me to sit in front of a computer to save my life. So
Let's tell people, I'm sure they're curious right now, and I
Yeah.
have as soon as you say this, I have something to add. What is your website where people can learn about your company and the services and locations? It is
so it's thepetbarber.com.
thepetbarber.com. And
Yep.
in my world, all dogs are great.
Yeah.
But the one that you have, the first picture that comes up, who is that beautiful dog? Oh,
So-
my God. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That very,
yeah.
Jenna, did
Yeah,
you
it was
see
a-
that?
It was
yes.
What is that? That is so
He's a
captivating.
pit bull, and I wanted to stay true to the,
Oh,
to the, of
beautiful.
off the rescue, because look, they get a bad rap. We have them that come in. We have a lot of clients that have had them as rescues, and they come in. They're great dogs. They play extremely well in daycare, and They're
Wow.
very loving and loyal dogs. So
The
we had a puppy
photograph,
come in
the
one
picture,
time, and
the colors.
we got a picture of it, and we wanted to use it for our website. It's not my dog. It was a client's. It's grown now.
What's the name of the dog, by the way?
I don't know, to be
That
honest
is,
with you.
people go to the
I
website,
don't know.
thepetbarber.com.
I know
Bill's
that
gonna
may sound horrible,
Make that
but-
puppy a star.
I mean, I don't want my dogs to be jealous. They're
Yeah.
listening. I know that. But this dog is really something.
Yeah.
And some dogs are just super photogenic.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, there's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. Take just any dog. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
so photogenic.
we
They are.
have some really great photogenic dogs. There's actually the lady who runs my daycare. Her name is Cheyenne, and she's wonderful. She's full of tons of life and upbeat, and just I think she's found her spot, you know. And her dog Loki, he's like he models all of our like bandanas and stuff that we do
Aw.
for the seasons and all kinds of stuff. And he's on a lot of our social media because Loki is like, you know, he wants his picture taken. He wants to like be
The
there,
ham.
and yeah, and he's a great
That's
dog.
awesome.
And you know, he gets to be at work every day. That's another, you know, bonus. So yeah.
So so you were gonna make money.
Yep.
And going into finance, and
Yeah.
then where did you turn and say, no, I've got to follow my passion?
Just was like kind of lost, like any 19-year-old. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and my mom was like, "You need to go to school for dog grooming," because I was working at a grooming shop, and I worked for this lady, and she ran this little grooming shop, and I bathed dogs, and I would help like prep them and rough them in, and it just so happened not too far away, a little over 3 hours away, down in New York City, was the #1 dog grooming school in the world, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so.
Like the Michelin star of
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
grooming schools.
So
The theme today.
there you go.
I signed up for it, and I went to New York City all by my lonesome, and I said if I was going to do it, I was going to be the best. So I ended up graduating #1 in the class, and there was this thing where they had like on graduation day, like all these people that wanted to take the recruits and everything. So I ended up going to work for a woman who was a professional handler of terriers. And I got like really immersed into like professional dog grooming, and that even helped my skill even more. And I just always had this passion, like if I was going to do something, I'm just going to be the best at what I do. And that's kind of where it's come from. And then when I moved down to Houston, there was a lack there of really good dog grooming. In New York City, it was pretty abundant because you had to go to school, you had to like actually like learn, and in Texas there was they're considered property down here, animals, like, you know, like your lamp in your house. That's how it's judged. So you could just like, hey, I'm gonna be a dog groomer and start a business. You didn't have to have any licensing or anything like that. And the unfortunate part about it was when I came down here, it was just basically like take a pair of clippers and shave a dog down, and there was no real style to it. There was no anything. So I was like, wow. And I started working for places, and I got a really good name for myself, and I built up clients and things like that. And then other places would want me to come work for them. And at the end of the day, you know, you're still working for owners, and they had all their own ideas. And as much as I wanted it to be mine, it wasn't mine. And then one day I was really fortunate enough where I was in a position where I'd saved some money because I had worked really hard. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this on my own. And we were thinking of names, and I was like, you know, I want to keep it classic, old school. Just, you know, I'm a guy, I'm a straight guy. I've got a wife and kids. And no, I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not really well known in the dog grooming industry. And I was like, you know what? I'm a barber, but I'm talented at what I do. And back up in New York, barbers were really talented at what they did.
Let's tell people, as they're listening, I'm sure people are thinking, hey, I want to try the Pet Barber. Tell them about your locations, Paul, where they are, and if people want to get their grooming needs
we have
right
3
there,
locations
or
right
daycare,
now,
too,
and
for the dogs.
there's going to be more to come. We can't just open locations because we have to find the right people. The one thing about the Pet Barber is I believe in our work must stand above everybody else's. So my groomers, when they come in, they already have experience, but then they groom next to me for a month or so on, and they have to become a certain grade of a groomer and be able to know all different cuts and really be able to focus on it. And their customer service has to be well, and they can't have all kinds of other baggage problems. And it's taken years to do that, but because we've been able to do that, we've been able to build a very good staff, and we now have 16 amazing groomers. And my locations are in Memorial Spring Branch, which is at 1022 Wirt Road, right off I-10 and Chimney Rock exit. I've got another location in River Oaks, which is right next to the Briar Club, right on Westheimer, which is a fantastic location right down the street from Central Market. And then we have our Montrose location, which is at 1417 Richmond Avenue, right a little past Dunleavy and Richmond. Yep.
That's awesome. I will say, Bill, I mean, when I walk in, the key to any successful business, right, is customer service.
Yeah.
And you just talked about your amazing groomers and the training. And my dog, Hilly, I bring her in, and she always has the same groomer. They always know exactly what you want. They're so lovely. I mean, it's very much like a concierge service for your pet, which I think, regardless of whatever the laws of the state are, most of us think of our pet as family, right?
Of course, 100%.
So we want to take good care of them. So this is such a great business.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. That like I just want people to know out there that like your dogs, when they're in our shops, my staff are all huge pet lovers. They have to be. I myself want to make sure I strictly have this whole rule about you need to make sure that you treat all the animals in here like they were your own. These are people's children. They're their family members. And we take great care and great pride in what we do. And I know that's what, not only that, and our grooming puts us above pretty much everybody else in the area. And that's why we've been successful at, building the business and keeping it to what we want. I've had plenty of investors that have come in and they've been like, hey, this is a great thing. Let's go. Let's do a bunch of franchises, like other franchises that are out there now. And it always comes down to, I can't build franchises that quick because it has to stay this quality.
Yeah.
And once you build a franchise in a service like pet grooming, you can't keep that same quality.
Yeah.
You just can't. It's impossible to do. So this will be something that we'll build, and it will build over time, and it will have the same quality, and that's what has set our company up, and that's what we'll keep moving forward with.
That's awesome.
He is Paul Willis, the owner of the Pet Barber. One last word, Paul, before we close the segment.
I just want to thank you, Bill, for the opportunity to speak. I know that I'm a talker, and I can sometimes get all into this kind of stuff.
Apologies for that on the talk
We
radio
love
show.
it.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we thank Jenna for bringing you on.
I would love for people to come in, if you haven't, and give us a try. I promise that your dogs are going to look amazing. Our grooming is phenomenal. We've gotten awards. We've been in all kinds of things. And just our clients alone, it's the word of mouth that is what's really helped us out.
And how can people reach you once again? The website and phone number?
Yeah, the phone number is 713-393-7181. That's going to get you to our main line, but we have rollover phones, so it can pick up all the locations. And it's thepetbarber.com in Houston, or I think it's thepetbarberhouston.com is actually what it is. And, you can book appointments and everything and get what you need to get from there.
There you go. Once again, all over the city, the tails are wagging. Thanks for being with us, Paul.
Thank you.
Petbarber.com.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul.